Meanwhile, Gregg Berhalter calling in 9 Major League Soccer players for a pre-World Cup camp going down in Frisco, Texas as we speak. This, of course, for MLS players out of the playoffs. The camp running October 25th through November 5th. The players on the list: Paul Arriola, Jesus Ferreira, Aaron Long, Shaq Moore, Jordan Morris, Christian Roldan, Gaga Slanina, DeAndre Yedlin, and Walker Zimmerman. Herc, some names not on this list as well. Who's your biggest snub?
Jordi Mihailovic. And I'm surprised not to see him on this list, but I'm not surprised. Why am I surprised? Because Jordi Mihailovic hasn't really been a part of the U.S. men's national Gregg Berhalter in any facet. It may seem unfair, but it's a reality. And he was very good for Montreal this season. Very good. I picked him, I pegged him as an MVP candidate. He was that good as advertised for Montreal. Single-handedly, I shouldn't say single-handedly, but led them to a game of the Eastern Conference Final, one game away from the Eastern Conference Final. And when I think of the past games for the U.S. men's national team, and I go back to the Japan game, the game where guys like Weston struggled, guys like Tyler struggled, guys like Luca De La Torre struggled in that midfield. And you talk about creativity, being sound technically with the ball, being able to advance it. Yunus Musa not there. This is a player that ticks all those boxes. That game for me confirmed that you need a player like Jordi Mihailovic there, and it's a shame that he won't be there.
Yeah. I wonder what timing plays here. Maybe Mihailovic makes the move to AZ a year ago or something has success. It might look different. I agree with what you say that, like, you're surprised because you might rate Mihailovic, but you're not that surprised because he's never really been part of this process for Gregg Berhalter. There's quite a few guys that I think kind of fit that description. Eric Williamson is a guy you could put on that list. For me, I've said Jeremy Ebobisse a whole bunch. The player that I picked is Brandon Vasquez, right? 18 goals, 8 assists in Major League Soccer for FC Cincinnati. It compares very favorably to somebody like Jesus Ferreira, 18 goals, 6 assists for FC Dallas, playing in the same league. It's a position of need, obviously, for the U.S., and it's a guy who the refrain from Gregg Berhalter was, well, you know, I haven't seen you enough. There's not enough time. Remember what Juan Carlos Osorio told us. There's always enough time. There's always
especially
a minute,
for goal scorers,
a moment to find a goal scorer, especially when you're looking for one, right, as well. So for me, Brandon Vasquez is definitely on that list. There are some guys, Herc, that weren't on this list, though, who might have actually been a surprise because of the role that they played in qualifying. I'm thinking of guys like Gyasi Zardes, who at one point under Gregg Berhalter did have a significant role. And beyond that, I think the much bigger name is Sebastian Lletget. Sebastian Lletget at one point, I think a lot of folks felt, was a lock to make the team. And certainly a lock to be in the final discussions to make the team. The fact that he's not on this list, to me, is actually the biggest surprise, if not the biggest snub. Do you disagree?
I don't disagree. Remind me again where he's playing right now, where he plays his club football. I mean,
FC Dallas,
he didn't even have to take a flight. He could have walked to training, which makes it even more of a bigger surprise. Going back to Brandon Vasquez, the skill set. There is no other player in that pool with that skill set, the size, the power, the technical ability, the combination of all. In the World Cup, you're going to come across a lot of different back lines that could require a different skill set. I know he's not been part of this process, and it's very difficult, especially with the amount of goal scorers that are out there right now in that 9 position. But you just have to wonder what could have been if they would have introduced him earlier.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.